Morning, miners. Once again, this is Pakratt, and as you can tell by the name of this vid, this is my prank video. This is actually what I've been working on for quite a while. I was been thinking about what I could do for a prank for, probably since I got on the server. I'm sure like many people have, but I could never come up with something that is both harmless and that really fits this series, because basically everything else has always been incorporating an update or something like that into a prank or something like that. Like when dispensers were made, Jay Sano took eggs and put them in the dispenser and filled his house with chickens and stuff like that. Or at least a lot of the pranks have been like that. Now, I couldn't think of anything like that, but I did think of a good harmless prank to play. What I wanted to do was kick this off by making a nice harmless one. I actually prefer harmless pranks. I don't think it's really nice to kill somebody in the middle of a prank. But I don't mind completely messing up their entrance to their house, as you can see. What I actually did is I dug a tunnel next to Guud's existing tunnel. And went really, really far with it. As you can see, the reason this is being sped up so much, by the way, this is actually the whole 10 minutes of this vid actually encompassed about 2.5 hours of footage, and I didn't think that you guys wanted me to. I mean, even at sped up of like 4 times, that's still like 40 minutes or something like that. So we're gonna make this sound and look really weird, but that's okay. I think it's going to end up a lot better that way. So I just basically dug the tunnel next to his, and I dug it out a long distance until I reached about, I think it was 300 blocks out, and at that point I had hit somebody else's tunnel, and I had to close it off at that point. So I just cut it off there, backed up a little bit, and I created an exact replica of his portal room right next to that point. So this is obviously not just a long distance thing. I didn't just move his place. I also added something to the end of it. We'll get to that in a second. Let me just quiet down for a moment here. Okay, in a second we're gonna slow down a little. Well, we're gonna slow down a little bit and move on to the end of part 1 of this. Yes, I did say part 1. There we go. Okay, now, as you can see, I'm just starting to walk down the tunnel right now. All I'm doing is I'm walking down to the end, because after I think I just made a sign. So now I need to walk down to the end with the sign and put something behind it. I actually did create the portal, and it ended up showing up in the middle of nowhere, and I did like that. So I wanted to. You can't make a prank and not sign it. Now, not everybody signs it with their name, but as you guys probably know, because most of you guys know me from IRC or something like that, but I have a distinct way of writing, so I could just make a sign, make it the way that I write it, and I pretty much signed it. So what that actually says on the sign is I think your character needed to have some exercise, basically. Just joking about the long distance that he had to walk to get here. That's all it really says. And it's a good end to the prank. I love the desert that it just popped out in the middle of. That was pretty classic. Okay. So, as I said, that was part 1. See, in order to make that part of the prank work, I would have actually had to have Guud not be at his house, and then I'd actually had to move the tunnel over a bit. Now, this would have been fine, except Good hadn't been on the server that much lately. I was actually kind of worried about him, so I asked him about that, and evidently that made him think that I was asking him about a prank, so he actually thought that I was pranking him. I was actually concerned about what was up with him, but, well, I guess every other prank has basically started from that. So I evidently gave myself away. Plus, I enlisted the help of some other people on the server to try to keep an eye on when he's not at his house, and I also asked B-Dubs to help me out. And B-Dubs kind of spilled the beans a little bit. So then Good flat out asked me if I was pranking him. So essentially, he wasn't leaving his house anytime soon, so I had to do a part B. He knew that something was going to happen if he ever left. I was going to move the tunnel. He didn't know what I was going to do, but he knew that I was going to have to do something after he left. So I decided to make it so that it'll do something even if he tries to leave. So part 2 is to take his. As you can see, I went below his portal room and dug that in the completely opposite direction. This one goes a lot further. And when I say a lot further, I mean a lot further. This actually creates a really long tunnel that goes about 500 to, I don't even remember. It was like 500-600 blocks out. I actually used some of my good diamond picks for this because I discovered that they're a lot faster. You might see at this point, I'm having a hard time seeing the video because Windows Movie Maker is kind of bad to watch this and talk at the same time. But I discovered that with an efficiency 3 pick, you can actually do what I call run mining. You can be removing blocks so quickly you can run while you're doing it. So that helped out the processor really, really a lot. So I just took the tunnel and I looped it all the way back around. It actually comes back out at Michael's portal, I believe, if he ever actually followed it to the end. I don't know if he's going to. It's obviously not required, but it's the only way. If he does follow to the end, it would be funny because then he still has to make it back into his house. So, actually, we're nearing the part where I actually found the part where Michael dug up from his house and created the portal in the ceiling. And I actually thought this might have been Good's first one. I thought that I hit perfection here and made it back to the original portal. I didn't, but this was close enough. So I basically just started from here. And so now we're going back to Good's house. And so now I can actually set up the first part without worrying about Good running into me or worrying about whether or not he's going to be in his house. I can just set it up now. So I do. So now he is pranked in both directions. When he leaves his house, he's going to have a long walk to get anywhere. And if he is not in his house, he's going to have a long walk to get to his house. And to make it even better, if he leaves his house, he's going to have a long walk in both directions because he's still going to have to try to find his way back again. So now he's, and I just thought this was perfect. It's a really nice harmless prank, and I think it ended up working pretty good. As you can see, I also moved the portal. I took out the top portal and put the blocks back so he can put it back together easily enough, and made it so the bottom portal is the one that's actually active. So nothing of his is ruined. The only thing that I did is turn off the top portal, and he's just got to go back and turn it on if he wants it. Side note, though, evidently in the Nether, if you have two portals standing right on top of each other, it prefers the bottom portal. So I didn't even actually have to turn the top one off. If you saw that, I could have just left that one on, and it would have still gone to the bottom one, which is actually kind of neat. So if he didn't turn off the one underneath it, he's actually gonna end up back out in the wrong place again later on, which I find quite funny. So here we are nearing the end. I'm just I'm now removing. I can't believe this pick lasted this long. By the way, this is an efficiency 3 durb and unbreaking 3 pick. And while I almost completely killed it, I actually finished it off by mining some obsidian. Actually, earlier today, and I still got like another 4 stacks of obsidian out of that thing. But that pick, I love that pick. That thing got me so far. So now I'm just moving the last little bits. Just got to move his little nether portal thing there, or his nether fortress thing. Once everything is put away, I even put it back in there the same way he had it arranged, just to make it that much better. And that's basically it. Good. You have now been pranked.